Welcome to another video this time. This is another video about the inghams, your second video of the day. So how would I describe Sarah in best? A pedo enabler is how you would describe her best. And how would I describe Chris? Well, he's a misogynist, he's an Andrew Tate wannabe, and he's a charlatan, as simple as that. There's no good way to describe to describe Chris and Sarah. There's no good thing, there's nothing good to say about them. It's like, what am I supposed to say about a woman who stood by her husband after what he did, after what he was accused of. The fact that Chris, this is what's always kind of sitting me more than anything with the inghams, is the fact that Sarah has always stood by Chris after what he did and after what he was accused of. The fact that he was accused of child grooming is shocking, and I think I think any normal parent or any normal woman would throw her husband out of the house if he was accused of something like that. I think that goes without saying that, any normal woman would throw their husband out of the house if he was accused of doing something like that. No normal woman would stick by her husband after he was accused of, grooming a 16-year-old girl. I mean, that goes without saying, that he obviously would have been free, that any normal woman would throw her husband out. It's as simple as that. I think the fact that Chris, said he didn't do anything doesn't automatically mean that he didn't do anything. Just because he said he didn't do anything and he's denied the allegations doesn't mean that he's telling the truth. I think the reason I believe it's true is that, obviously Sussex Police confirmed that the messages that were sent by Chris were of a sexually inappropriate nature, and they confirmed the messages were genuine. And which is why I'm more obliged to believe the messages, that this was true. And I just, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been thinking, like, why would that girl that accused Chris of doing what he did, why would she have posted a video talking about what Chris did if she knew that she was lying? And if she knew that what she was saying wasn't exactly true. This is what doesn't make sense. It's like, why would you post a video talking about something, what reason would she have had to make something like that up? What reason would she have had? This is one thing I've never understood, is what sort of reason that girl in particular would have had to lie about something like that. Let's face it, something like that is a very serious thing to lie about, and I'm sure she would have been aware of the consequences that she would face if she was lying. But she obviously did that video because she knew she wasn't, that video about what Chris did, because she knew she wasn't lying about it. She obviously did, she did that video because she knew she was telling the truth. She knew that she had nothing to hide. It honestly goes without saying that they had nothing to hide, that obviously she did, that she was telling the truth. I believe that. I think a lot of people believe that. Of course, I family don't believe that Chris never did anything. It's like, why would they not believe that Chris is innocent? Of course they don't believe that. Of course they don't believe every word he said was true. But just, what the IFAM need to realise is that just because Chris said he didn't do anything and denied the allegations doesn't mean he's telling the truth. As at the end of the day, he was always going to deny the allegations. He was never going to admit to them. He was never going to come on camera and say, yeah, I did do that. And I did do what this girl said I did. He was always going to deny it and say he never did anything. Because that's what people do. When they're accused of something, they don't admit to it. They always want to, they always try and deny it. But there's too much evidence to suggest otherwise. I think that this is the thing. I think there's too much evidence. I think there is too much evidence that suggests that what that girl named that Chris did is true, and that he actually did what he did. You know, we all, again, when you look at the fact that Chris wasn't arrested, we all know that, you know, it wasn't because he was innocent. We all know that he wasn't arrested because of the girl's age, because the girl was 16, so she had a legal age consent. You know, Chris hadn't really committed the crime. But we all know that had that girl been younger, you know, sort of 14, sort of 14, 15, he probably would have been arrested and locked up. You know, there's no denying that had that girl been younger, you know, Chris would have been arrested and would have been locked up behind bars. You know, that goes without saying. It's like, of course, you know, Chris and Sarah are always gonna deny he did anything. But that's what they do. You know, they're not people who are known for admitting to doing anything wrong or for admitting to being in the wrong. You know, that's something that they've never been willing to admit to, and it's something that they will never, that will never happen. You know, and you'll never ever get Chris or Sarah to admit that they've done anything wrong. You know, they will always deny it every single time. You know, I don't think any sane person would think that Chris was telling the truth. I don't think any decent person would think that Chris was telling the truth. I don't think anybody with a single ounce of common sense would believe that Chris was telling the truth. I think the only reason the IFAM believed that Chris was genuinely telling the truth was because they have no common sense. You know, they have no common sense they don't have the common sense to realise that just because someone says they didn't do anything doesn't automatically mean that's the truth. You know, if somebody was to say to me, who do I believe more, Chris or the young girl or the girl? I believe the girl. I believe Jess. I believe she was telling the truth, not Chris. You know, I've always said that. You know, it's just like, the problem with Chris is he's not someone that, you know, people should, you know, that should be allowed around kids. He shouldn't be allowed in areas where kids are. Simple as that. You know, people should, you know, if people had any common sense, they would keep their kids well away from him. You know, if people had any common sense, they wouldn't let their kids go anywhere near him. You know, because everything about Chris says I'm a massive pervert, which is basically what he is, a massive pervert. You know, and I don't have anybody try and tell me he's not a massive pervert, because everything about him says I'm a massive pervert. You know, a lot of the things he does, you know, shows me what sort of man Chris really is. You know, he's not the decent guy people make him out to be. You know, he is the most vile, disgusting human being I have ever seen. And the fact that Sarah has stood by him after what he did makes me sick to my stomach. You know, it still shocks me to think that Sarah has stood by Chris after what he did, because no normal, as I said at the start of the video, no normal woman, or no normal decent woman would actually stick by her husband after what he done, after he was accused of something like that. If their husband was, if any normal decent woman would do, if their husband was accused of something like that, they would throw them out of the house. But she stood by him, and she had another 3 hits by him after what he did. She had another 3 hits by a child groomer. Oh yeah, that's nothing to be proud of. You know, this is just a thing. Regardless of what people say, Chris and Sarah have nothing to be proud of. You know, so the fact that Sarah has enabled, but this is the thing, Sarah has enabled Chris to do what he did, to do what he does. Sarah enables him to do that. You know, there's a reason why I call Sarah a basically a pervert enabler. That's exactly what Sarah admits at the end of the day. She's a pervert enabler. You know, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to have anyone tell me vice versa, because that's exactly what I see. A pervert and a pervert enabler, you know, exploiting their kids for money. you know, and but it's sad when you look at his. As I said I think in one of the videos I put out yesterday, it feels like that his just don't have any privacy in their lives whatsoever. When they're at home, they're filmed constantly. They go out somewhere, they're filmed constantly. It's like it's like they have no privacy whatsoever in their lives. You know, it feels like every single part of their lives is being shared online for public consumption. And it's just wrong. And I know I'm not the only person who thinks it's wrong. I know I'm not the only person who is sickened and disgusted by the fact that Sarah stood by Chris after what he was accused of. Like, that fact and that fact alone disgusts me beyond belief. It disgusts me it disgusts me and it sickens me more than words can ever say. There are no words that will ever describe just how much that sickens me and disgusts me, knowing that she had stood by him after what he did and after what he was accused of. Of course he denied it, but he was always, as I said, he was always going to do that. He was always going to deny it every single time. He ain't never going to admit to doing what he did. But as I said in the video I put out the other week, I think last week, it's funny how Chris hasn't actually been back to Orlando, Florida, in the 6 years since the allegations actually came out. And this is a crucial fact that people are often overlooking. They're often overlooking the fact that Chris or any other member of the family have not been back to Orlando, Florida since since those allegations came out. If he's got nothing to hide and he's not guilty of anything, what's stopping him from going back there? What's stopping them from taking the kids there? As he's saying as he's always said he's innocent, he's always said he's got nothing to hide. So there's obviously nothing to it. So if what Chris is saying is true, if Chris is saying he didn't actually do anything, then there's nothing actually stopping them from going back to Orlando. There's nothing stopping them from stepping foot back in Orlando. And the fact that they've not been there, they've not been back there once in the 6 years since the allegations came out, sort of indicates the fact that Chris isn't as innocent as he claims he is. I've always said I don't believe that Chris is completely and utterly innocent. I think the IFAM need to do their research properly before they start claiming things aren't true. Yeah, they will always claim that things are not true, but have they actually properly done their research? Because I don't think any of them have actually properly done their research in that respect. I think this is the big reason why, this whole thing alone is why I despise Chris and Sarah so much. Obviously I despise Chris because of what he did, the fact that he groomed a 16-year-old girl, which is absolutely disgusting. Beyond more than words, disgusting beyond words. But I also despise Sarah because of the fact that she stood by Chris after what he did, when no normal woman and when no decent woman would do that. No decent woman would ever stand by her husband after allegations like that had been made. And as I said, what reason did that girl have for lying? Why did that girl post a video about what Chris did if she knew that she was lying, if she knew that everything she was saying in that video was all lies? I do feel sorry for that girl, the way that she was targeted after she outed Chris, because she was targeted by IFAM in the most vile, disgusting way possible. You know, I'd love for the IFAM to all stand in front of that girl's parents and tell her parents that their daughter was lying. And I bet they wouldn't have the balls to do that. You know, they will have. You know, would they actually tell that girl's parents that their daughter's lying about what Chris did? But I bet none of them would. I bet they wouldn't. I bet they wouldn't have the balls to do that. You know, it's just horrendous. And yeah, as I said, it makes things worse knowing that even the IFAM, you know, but Chris didn't do anything. Because he said he didn't do anything. But what's funny, right, is that obviously police confirmed the messages were sexually inappropriate, nature, yada yada yada. Now, Chris denied being a pervert, he denied being a child groomer, etc, etc. But he didn't actually deny the fact that he sent sexually inappropriate messages, which is what the allegations were, is that he was obviously sending sexually inappropriate messages. And he didn't actually specifically deny that. Which is funny, if you go back and you actually watch the video that he did where he was saying, you know, where he denied being a pedo and, you know, the infamous no, hell no video, he doesn't actually specifically deny sending anything, you know, like sending inappropriate messages to, you know, to anyone. You know, and that's one of the things that stands out to me about that video is he didn't actually deny that. He denied being a pedo, he denied being a child groomer, etc, etc, but he didn't actually deny he didn't actually specifically deny the fact that he sent sexually inappropriate messages to a 16-year-old girl. Which we know he did. I think anybody with an ounce of common sense knows that he did that, knows that he still is sin. I mean, you know, anybody who is sane, any person with a brain in their head with an ounce of common sense knows that Chris is as guilty as fuck. And he's always been as guilty as fuck. You know, it's never been any different. You know, nothing the IFAM or Chris and Sarah ever say will ever convince me that Chris is innocent and that Chris never did what he did. You know, all I can say is that if people had any common sense, he's well away from Chris. He's not the sort of person that you would want to allow your kids to go near because he is a creep. You know, we know he has a thing for teenage girls. You know, it's like, you know, I really don't like the vibe I get from Chris, and I never have liked the vibe I get from him. You know, I always get this really sinister, kind of dangerous vibe from him. Like, he's not the sort of person that, you know, you would want to be associating with, or you would want to be friends with. Chris and Sarah are the sort of people that, you know, just use people. Chris and Sarah are the sort of people that would stab their friends in the back, you know, when they were given the first opportunity to do that. You know, I mean, obviously, I'm glad that these companies get outed for collaborating with the inghams, because, like, you know, a lot of businesses and stuff do deserve to be outed when they obviously collaborate with people like Chris Ingham. They need to do their research before they start collaborating with people like him. I mean, Chris reminds me very much of, you know, Jonathan Jolie. Now, obviously, you know, I talk about Jonathan Jolie a lot, and he's not actually, you know, done or been accused of what Chris has been accused of, but he's still, like, a lot of the things he does are still very perverted. He still comes across as a massive creep. But Chris comes across as a massive creep on a whole nother level to that. You know, his level of creepiness is a whole nother level to that of Jonathan Jolie. You've got Jonathan Jolie and then you've got Chris Ingham. Chris Ingham is the king of the YouTube creeps. You know, people like him, Jonathan Jolie, Jordan Matter, they all fit in that YouTube category, pretty well. You know, I mean, I've been watching a few of the Jordan Matter videos recently, and my God, all I can say about Jordan Matter is what a fucking creep. For a long time I never realised just how much of a creep he actually was, but now when I go back and watch the videos, I just think to myself, like, bloody hell, Jordan Matter is a fucking creep. Jordan Matter is as creepy as fuck, same with Jonathan Jolie as well. He's creepy as fuck. And same with Chris, he's as creepy as fuck as well. Every time I watch the inghams and I look at Chris, I think, my God, how can Sarah sleep next to that? Every time I look at Chris, he makes me feel sick. He makes me want to throw up. Everything about him disgusts me to the very core. Everything about Sarah disgusts me. But nothing disgusts me about Sarah more than the fact that she's enabled Chris to do, the fact that she stood by Chris after all these years. That and that alone is just absolutely, horrendous to think about, And it doesn't bear thinking about the fact that she could stand by Chris after what she did. But, it's one of those things, isn't it? You question why she's defended him, why she stuck by him after all these years, But I think the only reason she's actually stuck by Chris is because she wouldn't have been able to open hits on her own. Simple. You imagine, right? She's trying to be a single parent. She would never have hoped of being a single parent. In all honesty, it's like, Chris Ingham is one of those people that you really want to punch in the face. He's someone that deserves to be given a punch in the face. The guy is now but a misogynist and a fake House Andrew Tate wannabe. That's all I see when I look at Chris. He talks like Andrew Tate and he acts like Andrew Tate because he's an Andrew Tate wannabe. And as I've said before, I honestly don't agree with the fact that somebody who was a well-known social media influencer and a man who was married with a wife and 6 kids, 5 of which are girls, is so vocal about the fact they support someone like Andrew Tate. That really isn't a good look. As somebody who is, as I've said many times before, I support Andrew Tate, but it's not so bad for me because I'm obviously not a social media influencer, and I'm not a married man with a wife and 6 kids, 5 of which are girls. But that is the case for Chris Ingham. He's a married man with a wife. He's a man, he's a father to 6 kids, 5 of which are girls. Obviously, one of them is naturally his biological daughter, but he would still count as well as one of his kids, I guess. So he's got 6 kids, 5 of which are girls, and he's a social media influencer. Well, quite a well-known social media influencer at that. Those 3 facts, right there, are reasons why he shouldn't be supporting Andrew Tate, because it doesn't look good. It really does not look good for a man who is married with a wife and 6 kids, 5 of which are girls, and who is a well-known social media influencer, to be, supporting somebody like Andrew Tate. It really isn't. But we all know that what Andrew Tate has been accused of, etc., etc. But obviously, people like Chris Ingham, they should be banned from all public social media platforms. I really think that the police should be taking a much closer look at what Chris Ingham has on his hard drive. Some of people like Jordan Matter and Jonathan Jolie, I'd be very concerned about what they have on their hard drives. Chris Ingham is another one that should be looked at. God knows what he's got on his hard drive. I'd try to think what he's got on his hard drive. That alone doesn't bear thinking about, does it? It doesn't bear thinking about what he's got on his hard drive. It really doesn't. There's no words really to describe how fucking disgusting those two really are. Because they are not fucking disgusting. He's disgusting because he did what he did. And she's now a disgusting pervert enabler. She's enabled him to continue to be a pervert. I mean, this is a guy, I mean, come on now. This is a guy who had a massive rant because he'd been told he couldn't film his kids in a public swimming pool. If that doesn't say I'm a creepy nonce, I don't know what does. The fact that he was having a massive rant about the fact that he'd been told he couldn't film his kids in a public swimming pool, and actually was quoted as saying that he didn't necessarily agree with the safety guidelines, it certainly says there's something odd about him. It certainly says I'm a massive pervert. You know, every single day of the week. You know, we know he used to hide under Isabel's bed. There was that video where he was hiding under Isabel's bed. Hiding under Isabel's bed, and he jumped out on her when she had been getting changed or something like that. You know, it's just like the fact that he's always filming his kids in swimwear and showing that on a public social media platform. The fact that he uses thumbnails of his daughters in swimwear and things like that. The fact that he uses his open mouth thumbnails quite a lot. That's what Chris for you. As he's the one that edits the videos. He's the one that's using thumbnails like that. And there's a very good reason why he's choosing thumbnails like that. You know, because he's a massive pervert and he's trying to attract a certain audience. He's trying to attract pedos, and he's using thumbnails like that to attract pedos and child predators to videos of kids. You know, most of the time, Chris Sinham is basically selling his daughters to pedophiles on a plate. Simple as that. You know, all I can say is shame on every single one of those people who has defended Chris and Sarah for years, especially after what he did, especially after what Chris did, and the fact that Sarah has supported him. How can somebody support a woman and a mother who was stood by her fucking husband after he was accused of fucking child grooming? How the fuck can someone defend a woman like that? The fact that she's standing by her husband after what he fucking did, and the fact that people are fucking defending Chris after he groomed a 16-year-old girl. And of course, yeah, as I've said before in the video, of course he fucking denied it. He was never gonna fucking admit to that, was he? He was never gonna admit to doing what he fucking did. He was always gonna say, no, I didn't do it. I mean, he was always gonna say the allegations weren't fucking true. But anyone with an ounce of common sense knows the allegations were fucking true. Simple as that. You know, it's only the dipstick brainless IFAM that don't think the allegations are true. But who gives a fuck what the IFAM think anyway? Who gives a fuck what the IFAM say? Because it's at the end of the day, they try and chat shit every day, but they aren't chatting shit. You know, they should all basically wear t-shirts saying we support the exploitation of innocent we support the exploitation of innocent abuse of innocent children, right? That's what they should say. That's what they should wear. They should wear a t-shirt saying we support the exploitation of innocent children. You know, they can't chat shit. You know, they claim that we haters and trolls are in the wrong. But we're not the ones that are supporting a fucking pervert and a fucking pervert enabler. They are. Yeah, we're the ones in the wrong yet. They're the ones that are supporting a child room and a fucking pervert, a fucking pervert and a fucking pervert enabler. So who's more wrong here? The people that are actually not defending them, or the people who actually are defending people like that? Well, I think it's actually the people who are defending them that are actually in the wrong. Because they're basically defending a child room and a fucking pervert enabler. You know, this is the worst thing about it. You know, they claim that, you know, they claim that we're the ones in the wrong, yet they're supporting a man who groomed a 16-year-old girl and a woman that stood by her husband and had 3 kids by a man that was accused of something like that, when any normal woman would have fucking thrown him out the fucking door. I mean, let's be real. That's what any normal woman would do. If any normal woman if her husband had been accused of something like that, she'd sling him out the fucking door. But not dear darling pervert enabler Sarah Louise Ingham. She stood by her child rooming nonce of her husband and had 3 kids by him. How fucking disgusting is that? You know, come on now. Wake the fuck up. I don't even know what else to say. I don't even know what else I'm supposed to say about this. I think enough has been said in this video, to be honest. It's beyond hilarious. Well, not really hilarious, because it's not funny the fact that people defend them. You know, it's not fucking funny the fact that people are defending a child room and a nonce, and are defending a mother who stood by a pervert husband and had 3 kids by him. You know, she's had 3 kids by a child room and a nonce. Bravo, Sarah Ingham. Bravo. Wow, that's really something to be proud of, having fucking 3 kids and standing by your pervert nonce of a husband and having 3 kids by him. Bravo. I really must applaud you for that, you fucking bitch. Fuck me. I mean, that's what I'm gonna say on this. Sarah Ingham is a fucking pervert enabling bitch. Simple as that. And Chris is not but a child room and a nonce. And yeah, you look comment me all you want. I don't give a fucking shit. Someone had to say this. You know, I can't wait to see what some of you guys say about this video. Run it on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't really care if some of you don't. I don't care if you lot don't agree with what I said. I'm past caring about that. But this just had to be fucking said. Someone had to say this in a video. You know, and I'm glad I've said it. I'm glad I had the balls to say this in a video. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you for another video tomorrow. Bye bye.